Welcome back to the Armor Men's Health Hour with Dr. Mystery and Donna Lee.
Hello and welcome to the Armor Men's Health Hour. I'm Dr. Mystery, your host, here as always with my wonderfully sculpted office manager and co-host, Donna Lee.
That's right. You know, I did get some cool sculpting once. Is that why you said that? Because
Yes,
you can
I did.
tell?
Yeah, that's right.
You can't tell. You're busy avoiding me. You can't tell.
That's right. That's right. This is a men's health show. I'm a board-certified urologist, and this show is brought to you by NAU Urology Specialists. We are a group that specializes in urologic care. We've been giving that great care since 2007. We were recently given 2 awesome awards. I think Austin Monthly gave us one of the top urology awards, and then we got an award from the Austin American Statements for Best Men's Health, and then we got an award for Dr. Ong for one of the best female providers.
Yep.
And then I think that the recognition for what we're doing as a practice is getting better and better.
That's right. And we are the best men's wellness show in the entire world and the universe.
And it's so hard to disprove that.
That's right. It's legitimate.
It's already been stated.
You can't unprove it. So.
No, that's correct. I think I'm going to post it on Facebook. That'll make it true for sure. So we see all sorts of patients. We are open to see patients. We really pride ourselves on the 3 A's of a great practice: the availability,
affordability.
No.
Availability.
Ability.
Affordability.
No, you said it again. Affability.
Affability. And
ability.
You said that already.
Availability.
Okay.
We want to make sure that we can see you. We're not very good with our letters, but we're very good with your, yum-yums and dinglings.
That's right. We're going to flatten those yum-yums and dinglings.
Yeah, that's right. And so what's interesting about men's health is really an increasing interest in aesthetics. And so we've seen ads for all sorts of funny things out there. Scrotox. We have, we ourselves do quite a bit of male penile enlargement with the fillers, and with Dr. Dellinger, we have that on the show. And I thought that I would bring in someone to talk about a really cool technology that more and more men are getting done, and that's called cool sculpting.
That's right. You've probably seen a commercial or a billboard for
That's
it.
right. And so one of our really close partners, Victory Medical, they're a primary care facility that does so much more.
They're like 15 service lines. One of them is the med spa.
And they said to us a tremendous number of patients they're great partners with us in care. And we have Kristen from Victory Medical joining us today. Thank you so much, Kristen, for joining us.
Well, thank you for having me.
So you are a cool sculpting expert.
I think that might be true.
So when it comes to aesthetics and reduction or changing the way that our body appears, most people would be pretty familiar with using a knife to cut that stuff out. And knives leave scars, and they cost a lot of money, and people don't want to go through it. But less invasive ways of modifying the body or getting rid of problem areas is something I think a lot more people would be open to.
It's true. But the thing about cool sculpting, which is absolutely most important, is there's no downtime whatsoever. Typically, even someone who's sculpted in the very same day after working with me can go to the gym. It's non-invasive. It works. It's just an absolutely beautiful, beautiful way to remove subcutaneous, which is on the surface fat, and sculpt what you want to be there, not having pockets of fat on the surface.
So what's really important with aesthetics is that very few things are set it and forget it. You really need to go somewhere that has experience, or you could end up not looking like you want to look.
Well, this is true because even with cool sculpting, there's a thing called shark bite. I can't give you back what I take. It doesn't come back. We do not regenerate fat. So I better be really good at what I do.
Are you sure you don't regenerate fat? Because
nope.
Around the holidays, I seem to regenerate quite a bit.
We can shrink fat by dieting, but you do not lose fat cells. Cool sculpting with an applicator will subcutaneously, with cryopolysis, freeze the fat at a negative 11 or 13, depending on what applicator I'm using, and that fat is killed and disseminated through the lymphatic, gone forever.
So when you're using this on a problem fatty area, does the actual probe get to -11, and how do you stop it from causing frostbite?
Absolutely. Let's suggest that I'm working on a stomach and it's a very fit person. I do a lot of people that are very fit. But of course, between the abs on a male, sometimes even dieting down or squatting or all the work you can do, you can't get rid of it. So I have what's called a smooth probe plate that is put on the abdomen. It is a -13. I have to cover the area with a gel after treating it cleanly, and then I put another film over it. So we have 3 ways of protecting that patient, and that sits on the abdomen for an hour and 15 minutes and freezes everything in its line, and everything will die. It's called continuous fat treatment.
Is there a limit on how many areas or how big of an area you can do?
Our only limitations is what the FDA doesn't approve, which is glutes and breasts.
So you cannot do breast reduction or gynecomastia with it, and
No.
you cannot do anything on the buttocks.
No.
Now, what area of the body do you see most commonly men getting cool sculpted?
Most common is submental, chin, entire jawline, very, very popular. I'm excellent at this. It literally, we call it our mini facelift.
So submental means underneath the chin and along the jawline. So to get that real fine jaw, what is it called?
Chiseled.
Chiseled.
Oh boy.
Chiseled chins.
I guess I don't know about that one. So to get that chiseled chin is where you do the cool sculpting below the mandible and the chin.
That's correct.
And then what are some other common areas?
Often the stomach and flanks.
And then the flanks, you mentioned some interesting things. Guys who are used to either being very aesthetically like put together already or physically fit, sometimes if they have a change in job or lifestyle, that might change and that they may seek you out.
It's true because, promotions are great, but if you're not doing the same type of activity, if anything's removed from your daily lifestyle, your body will show a result of that.
So you mentioned an example of somebody getting promoted at work and then no longer having to do all the heavy lifting and sitting all the time, and then all of a sudden they started getting fat pockets in ways they didn't know.
That's
true.
my excuse.
It's true. Driving in the car or what we call grown-up jobs, all of a sudden our bodies are not our number one priority.
You're seeing a lot of men, you said.
It's unbelievable. I would say that we're almost 50% in our practice male.
I wouldn't think that. That's awesome. You would think it's mostly like 90% women, but for the guys listening, there's some options.
It's wonderful because I've even had, oddly enough, people come from as far as San Antonio. Military, a lot of military men. Very surprising, but of course we do have our military here. But as they get more mature in their professions, they are so fit and so active within duty. Once they go into their military career life, that changes. But they still want their bodies to look the way
they did before, huh?
So
But
you're
it's
making hot guys look hotter.
It's a perfect example of why we live this way. But then again, you're growing up a little and you realize this isn't your job, just your body.
Are those areas similarly treated in women for the most part?
Absolutely.
Stomach and flanks?
Yes, we have genetic changes, of course, as all of us seem to feel. There's a change in the 40s for sure. Women, it's always hormonal, but men as well. Certainly giving birth and having children, medical conditions, medications, if you will. It's the same for men. We always say, well, you haven't had a baby. Men actually do go through their own
They
stages.
have an emotional baby
An emotional baby.
when they get to their
it might
midlife
be.
crisis.
I had a hoagie.
That's eating a baby.
So how long does each area traditionally take in terms of a cycle of treatment?
Typically a cycle, and again, I have a choice of 5 different applicators and 3 different contours. Typically it's 35 minutes aside. I do not do shared tissue work, regardless of whether I dual, which is using 2 machines. Shared tissue is 1 at a time. We don't ever do 2 at a time. But when we start getting into some other technical areas where we're using the Smooth Pro, it can go as long as an hour and 15 per cycle. It varies on where I'm going and what I'm doing. Whenever we're treating an area where there's no muscle and no tendon, the results are almost immediate. Anytime I'm using what's called a pull or vacuum applicator, there is going to be some swelling and some irritation due to that continuous pull into the applicator while the freezing component engages. When I'm using the Smooth Pro, which is a flat panel, which was originally designed for outer thigh, I now use it on stomach, below the legs and other areas. That is not a pull, but that's an hour and 15. So it typically, like this morning,
So somewhere between 35 minutes to an hour and 15 minutes.
at least an hour with pictures and conversation, and I try to throw in some lifestyle changes and talk about diet and exercise.
Well, that's great. How do people get a hold of you? How do they make an appointment?
Well, you just call Victory Med Spa, and right now, if you have the inclination of wanting to get sculpted, you just have to say sugar cookie, and we give you another 20% off.
Sugar cookie. I want a sugar
Which
cookie.
is an oxymoron if you think about what I do.
That's right.
Just saying.
Oh, that's funny. Well, you can reach out to Kristen at 512-462-DOCS. That's 3627, and victorymed.com is her website.
And extension 6.
All right. Thank you so much, Kristen.
Thank you so much, Kristen.
Dr. Mystery wants to hear from you. Email questions to armormenshealth@gmail.com. We'll be right back with the Armor Men's Health Hour.